It's E3. Scott, you and I saw Star Wars Battlefront Bespin DLC.
We did.
It was pretty cool.
It was, yeah. I mean, it's nice to get, adding more areas to the game. It's always great to get, new stuff from the movies, new familiar things.
Sure.
The first area that we played was actually just sort of like not as iconic as some of the other levels that we've seen in the game so far. It was just sort of an open cityscape kind of area. It was like the outdoor spaces of the city that you actually don't see too much of in the movies.
Right.
But it does add like a really interesting open area to the game. It's a very, very large map. A lot of pieces to cover, but still just, for the most part, very open.
Sure. Yeah, skyscrapers make it really interesting. Everything else I feel like in the game has just terrain. This is very much an urban environment. So yeah, you get a new vehicle, the Bespin Cloud car.
Yeah, and like you said, the skyscrapers make it really interesting having to like traverse through those environments because you can absolutely crash into any of those buildings. I did many times.
Yeah.
So it definitely makes dogfighting a little more interesting because you're not just flying around in open space. You can actually maneuver around obstacles or try to it's easier to lose somebody or lure them into sort of an area that will be harder for them to escape from.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely adds a very interesting dynamic to the way the vehicles work.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, I was doing cool stuff with it too, like going under bridges, getting ATSD kills, like hugging a skyscraper. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty fun. I think that's nice to see that happen, opposed to all these other maps, which are fairly open,
right.
As far as dogfighting goes. So yeah, you get to really change it up nicely there.
Although I would say that anytime I came up against an AT-AT when I was on foot, they would just destroy me. It was very hard to get away because most of the map is so open. You can kind of crouch behind cover and pray, but if they know you're there, they can just wait, and if you ever move, they can just take you out. So
oh, absolutely.
That was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, especially when you are forced to cross a street, you just don't have enough
Yeah, I
cover
found that
sometimes.
happening quite a bit on that map because, I mean, there were some stretches where it's just like there is no cover for enough space that if a vehicle has seen you, you're just toast, which is unfortunate. But the other area, super cool, because
cool.
This DLC also includes the sort of cryo chamber where we see Luke fight Darth Vader for the very first time, where Han is frozen in carbonite. So seeing that and feeling just, it's so authentic. It's so authentic to the movies. It was, I immediately felt, just completely connected to this area. It was so cool to see it rendered so truthfully, so faithfully. In the game.
Yeah, easily one of the most impressive maps that game has to offer. A lot of scenes, a lot of moments from the movie that you actually kind of get to experience, like Luke coming into that tube corridor where a gate door opens
Slides
up.
open, yeah.
It's got, of course, got
and
all
then
the
the
sound
lights
effects.
come on.
Lights turn on. It was really
you can
well
actually
done.
run through that. It feels so cool.
Right.
And in addition to being just feeling very cool to be in this movie space, it's actually a pretty cool map as well. I mean, there are some really tight hallways and corridors, but then it opens up into a larger room where the freezing chamber actually is. So it's a relatively intricate map, and I think actually a pretty cool addition to what's already in the game.
Definitely. We also get in this DLC 2 new heroes.
Yes, very important.
I played Lando for about 5 seconds until I got just crushed by
that'll happen.
AT-AT. But Dengar was a pretty cool hero. He so one of his abilities is he just can just basically go on insane full auto and it's
just hose everyone.
This thing is just flying around, and then he can throw a dozen remote mines or just mines actually out at people. He was pretty fun.
Also a couple new weapons, not quite as exciting as the heroes, but there's a night sniper pistol that has when you aim down sight, the screen goes black and white. You can kind of see the glowy sort of white outlines of enemies. We were playing at a daytime map, so it wasn't really that helpful, but it might be more helpful on darker maps.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what was the other? What was the second
one? It was an EE40 or EE4 blaster. Pretty generic. I mean, I don't know. A lot of those weapons just kind of feel the same.
That is one of the things that I think Battlefront doesn't do all that well. The weapons are all a little bit samey, and this doesn't really change that all that much, unfortunately. But Lando and Dengar and the cryo chamber, all of that stuff was really great.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. And that's roughly about it. There was a new game mode, Sabotage.
New game mode, it's a bit like Rush from Battlefield, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
Also some new Java quests to get the new gear, stuff like that. Maybe a few other things, but that was all the big stuff.
Yeah, the Java stuff was interesting. I mean, that's a whole other way to progress in the game, right? You get tasked with challenges in order to unlock items and other gear.
And depending on the gear that you want, you can pick that specific challenge.
Exactly. Yeah. But overall, it was nice. If you are into Battlefront,
for Battlefront person, or if you're a Star Wars fan, this delivers more fan service, which is what we love about that game.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks very much, Scott.
Absolutely.